What is happening, everybody out there in Inside Carolina land? Joey Powell here, Tommy Ashley there. Man, our run of guests continues, Tommy. We're talking with a guy that actually busted some heads for quite some time, part of the Brick Squad at UNC, and now he's absolutely entertaining audiences here, there, and everywhere, and will be entertaining audiences pregame as the Belichick era starts in Chapel Hill. He's going to be kicking off the season both proverbially and figuratively. Chase Rice, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm home. I haven't been home in quite a while, so I'm glad to be home. I got my backyard. I got my dog running around somewhere. So I'm doing really well right now, man.
Well, I'm going to ask you to say this has been a theme question we've asked of everybody that we've had on recently. I think it probably hits you a little differently because you wore the uniform. Bill Belichick, the head man on the sidelines at Kenan Stadium. The first time you heard that, what was Chase Rice's reaction?
I mean, I remember him talking about. It. I'm like, this ain't happening. This is stupid. You hear this stuff all the time. And then when it finally started looking like it really was, and it happened, I got a my old tour manager was of 10 years was one of my best friends, and they're all from Cape Cod, so they've huge. I've been watching the Patriots for years because of them. And now we have a group text called Bill, and it's fun. It's got his picture. It's got his holding the helmet when he first came into Carolina. Nobody can believe it. Definitely couldn't back then. It's wild. And I've heard a lot of people say like that's so stupid. And I'm like, why? What are you talking about? One of the best coaches to ever do it. Certainly an argument for the best coach of all time. And it's a program that historically we've struggled in football. I mean, we had Drake May and Sam Howell back to back, and Trubisky and unbelievable quarterbacks, and we still we're happy with 10 games. Like, get out of here! The day that Carolina's happy with 10 games it's just going to continue to happen the way it has, and it's been a frustrating time since I've been a Carolina guy. Even our teams, like we had some really talented players and teams, but we didn't have the mindset of we're going to win this game. We can't lose. It's okay if you lose Carolina football, and that's got to change. And can't think of a better person to do it than Bill Belichick. I mean, I don't know what players we've got. I don't know if anybody's gonna know till this game, but it's we're gonna be smart and we're gonna be tough, and that can go a long way in college football.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, just play good, sound, physical football, and that'll win you a lot of games. When you look at this team and this program, I think you just said it pretty accurately that everybody's thinking is we don't know what they've got until we see them here at 8 o'clock tonight against TCU. When you talk to your former guys, do they all hold the same opinions of you have that this? Why not Carolina? Why not do this? I mean, there's no reason not to. Does everybody think the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's fed up with it. We're fed up with losing. We're fed up with being average and being okay with 10 wins. That's not great in college football. And I think Carolina's done a really good job over the years. Like when I was there, I remember it was basketball. That's all anybody seemed to care about. I think they've done a really good job of spreading that out. I mean, everybody loves Carolina basketball, but around that town, I follow the social media stuff. So I just think people care more about just basketball now. At least I always have. Maybe I'm wrong in that. I have no idea, but I'm not a basketball guy. Like I didn't grow up I grew up in Florida before I moved to North Carolina, and I grew up around the Florida State, Florida, Miami rivalries. And that's college football at its finest, especially in the 90s, man. That was Florida State every year. It was you cannot lose scenario. And we've got to get that mindset with Carolina football. Otherwise, we're going to continue to be average. And I'm not afraid to say that. Like, we're average. People aren't scared to play Carolina. And I think you bring in smart coaching like that, and you can do it for a long time, which we're going to need to do. I don't know how we follow Bill, but who cares? Right now, he can start a foundation now for a long time in college football to where Carolina can come up on that schedule, and you don't necessarily want to play them. And we have the ability. We have the facilities. We have the stadium. We have the tradition of what Carolina actually is. We just need to shift that over to football and all the other sports as well. And we've done a good job on other sports as well.
I want to ask you about how you wound up playing at this concert, but Well, I always like to ask former guys that played, that bled, and all that. What do you think about NIL and this new era of freedom of movement and all that? And how do you think that would have affected your career had all that stuff been a thing back when you played?
Um, I mean, at some point you got to cap it. Like the NFL has a cap. What are we doing in college football? And there's been some things came out recently. I don't even know what those are. I don't try to follow it because I'm sick of seeing what's changing. But if you want to keep a college football, you gotta limit it at some point. You can't just continue to pay these guys an endless. It's not pro sports. I don't care what you say. It's not. This is not the NFL. There needs to be a jump. There's no situation, in my opinion, where an NFL player should be making less than a college player. So they've got to cap that. They got to fix that somehow. Um, and remember that these guys are, I don't care who's making the money off of them. I don't care that Carolina's making all this money and the players aren't getting paid. Well, you're a college athlete. You're getting a free education. Shut up. Um, and on top, that's how I feel about that. And then the transfer thing is almost worse. What are we doing? I don't know why we open the floodgates to where it's like you can just I saw last year or something. There was a kid that played for Miami that was in his 8th season of college football. Why are you playing
Yeah.
8 seasons? I mean, that means I should have 4 years of eligibility. Um,
You're
and
gonna
then he
play the
played for
show and
like
then go play
7
the game.
different. He played for like 3, 4, 7 different schools or something like that. I don't know why the NCAA is making a complete ass of themselves and just continuing to let that fly. Obviously, money's probably the answer, but figure it out. Like you guys are paid good money in the NCAA as well to figure this stuff out. Like get your head out of your ass and let's go. Let's make it college football again. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to transfer, but I think at some point there's some good instances where players have been able to transfer. They've had huge success, but maybe limit that as well. Like give them one, and then you're stuck with your decision. You're a kid, you can make that mistake, but you got to learn. You can't continue to just move on and move on and move on. You got to stick with something. And until they figure that out, they're the idiots.
We're talking with Chase Rice, country music star here on Inside Carolina, Inside Carolina Live. Chase will be opening the Bill Belichick era in Chapel Hill. Chase, again, I referenced it earlier in the show. You were a linebacker. How much do you actually enjoy the thought of Bill Belichick bringing a Belichick style defense back to Kingdom Stadium and seeing a Tar Heel team, that might potentially win a game 12-10 or 9-6 or something like that? Does that get the old linebacker blood flowing pretty well?
I'm obsessed with it. It's like I said, I don't think Carolina's been feared or known as a tough team since the late '90s, at least consistently. And as a linebacker, I love it. I wish I could. If we're talking NIL and all the stupid rules that they have going on in college football, transfer portal, well, go ahead and give me another year of eligibility back. I feel like I could train a little bit and still got it. I would love to play under a guy like Bill. And it's going to be smart, tough football. And I love it. I want Carolina to be known as a tough program because there's no reason we shouldn't be. We've got everything going for us. We just don't have the mindset or haven't had the mindset previously. Let's become a tough program where people are like, we're going to be in a dogfight when this Carolina Blue comes on the field.
How do you think, and again, it's totally your opinion, so I don't think there's a wrong answer, but if you were trying to lead a program right now, how would you try to remove that soft um, that soft label that they have, right? Do you have to acknowledge it from within the football center first, or do you feel like it's just you just start being tougher? What in your mind is the way to fix that?
I think you got to set the precedent first. I mean, Tom Brady, I've watched a lot of documentaries on him. I'm like, you wonder how they did that for so long. They had a standard. Like, this is the standard, and get the hell rid of the guys who can't deal with the standard. I don't care if you're a 5-star, 4-star, whatever. And that's what I'm so excited about, see what Bill can do, because he can take a 3-star guy, which he did with the Patriots all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that didn't belong in the NFL and made them Super Bowl champions. And that started with a standard that the players for a long time said. Bill said it, and we are going to be tough. We're going to be smart. And if you can't handle that, get the hell out. And that's where I think it needs to start. That's what I would do. How do you set that standard? I think practice is a huge part of it. Practice and lifting and getting your bodies right and eating crazy healthy and watching the hell out of some film and being smart, but setting that standard in practice to where when you go play on game day, that's what Brady keeps saying. When you go play on game day, it's easy. And you got to have the right coaches in there to set that standard, and then get the right players in there. And that involves weeding out some guys that may not be the toughest guys that can't handle that, even if they're a 5-star player. Get them out of there. Go get the right players that can live up to that standard.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what they're doing because 41 guys transferred out once he came in. So we'll see if it takes. I think first year to second year it'll be the big tell. But let's talk a little bit about the environment in Keenan Stadium, since today is supposed to be absolutely nuts and you're a part of it. What was it like? And obviously I was watching and covering it and all that, but from a player standpoint back then, what was it like playing in Keenan Stadium, and also the expectations of players, and did it even matter what the fans were doing for you guys? How did that work as a guy in the arena on the field?
It matters a lot. First of all, college football atmosphere, I think, is it's just a huge part of college football. And there were some awesome times. We had a lot of losing seasons. We had 3 losing seasons when I was there, and 2 winning seasons. Those winning seasons were incredible. I remember the NC State game my freshman year. T.A. McClendon, all them boys came in, and it was just I don't know if it is as good as it gets, because I mean, those SEC schools just have an insane environment. But for how big that stadium is, at 60,000 or 50 something thousand, it was as rocking as you could possibly make it. Stopping T.A. McClendon on 4th down to go into the end zone. And then the Miami game my freshman year, Devin Hester, top number 2, 3, or 4 team in the country, comes in, and Connor Barth ends up hitting that game-winning field goal, rushing the field. You don't get really better than that in college football. And people would argue the SEC. Obviously, I've been a bunch of SEC games. It's incredible. It's an incredible environment because it matters. And why does it matter? Because the teams are good and they win. As long as Carolina's good and they win, they can be one of the top tier places to play. Keenan can be in college football. 'Cause I don't care how big the stadium is, or what conference it is. If you're a good team and you got another good team coming in there, it's going to be loud and it's going to be an impact on the game. And Keenan has the ability to have that. I've seen it.
Yeah, those 2 you referenced were unbelievable. I mean, I still got a chunk of dirt from the field in 2004 from running out on the field acting silly. But
Yeah.
why come back and play this concert? What drew you back to Carolina? Obviously, you're diehard, but why come back and play today?
Well, the last game I was at was the NC State game 2 years ago at home. We ended up losing on a field goal. But the stadium was a great atmosphere, and I want to come back every single year just because I love that place. I love the people. Carolina's done a really good job of, a lot of the same people are in the building and the admin part of it. So it's really good to see old friends. A lot of my old teammates are going to be back. Bill Belichick's a big reason. You want to see what the guys are going to do. You want to witness history. Bill Belichick coaching in a college stadium is something I don't think anybody would say, think of happening, much less right there in Chapel Hill. So that's a huge part of it. And I was trying to get back in the parking spot that I parked at the NC State game. I parked right outside the football center, was able to go back and forth, get my drinks for the games. I had a blast at that NC State game. So I was going to hit up anybody, Steinbacher, Chacos, any of the guys, to see if I could get that spot. I didn't know if it would fly with Bill being there. And then out of nowhere, Steinbacher hits me up and says, "Hey man, we are trying to get you. We would love for you to play the opening spot. It's for our TCU first ever play a pregame concert. And here's the money." My guy hit me up. We were trying to get more money. I texted Rick. I said, "Hey, that extra money, forget about it. Give it to a player. Give it to the team. Whatever you got to do. I don't want it." I think this is the first time I've admitted that I was coming anyway. So now instead of just getting free parking, I'm getting paid to be parking there. So I'm excited.
I was going to say, I hope you at least worked out getting your spot if you did the show, but I don't, maybe they've got the stage where your spot was now. Who knows? That'll be quite a full circle moment, right?
Yeah, it's always fun to come back just to see old folks. But now that I actually get paid to come back and get to do a show, and I always told the guys, I said, "Guys, I'm going to be playing in an NFL stadium one day, music," when I was a senior, and I've gotten to do that. I toured with Kenny Chesney a while, and we got to play a lot of NFL stadiums. It looked a little different than I expected. but I got to fulfill a dream, and it all started right there in the worst way it could have. Right there on the, I don't remember what yard line I was on, probably 20 or 30. Snapped my ankle, and I was done for that year. And that was when I was becoming a really good player. And then I became a pretty bad teammate my senior year. Between that, losing my spot, which happens in injury all the time, especially when you lose it to a first and second rounder, and Bruce Carter and Zach Brown. But and then my dad passed away going into that senior year. So I was in a terrible place, but it led me to writing songs and falling in love with music because football had betrayed me. In my mind, teammates had betrayed me, coaches had betrayed me, and I was playing the victim when in reality, looking back, I should have just been there for the team. And so getting to go back and see those guys and tell them that face to face, hey man, it's great to see you again. We had some really damn good times, and being able to look at them and say, I wasn't the best teammate that I could have been, but we can make it up later in life, and I'm still friends with a lot of those players, and it feels like it's always home when I come back. It really is. So I'm really excited.
Last question for Chase Rice. And Chase, I know you've got some time at home. We'll let you sponge all that up before you have to get on the road again. But if you're coming back and you're talking to the guys in this locker room right now, a lot of whom are brand new to Chapel Hill, don't understand the culture, don't understand, that whole Carolina can mentality. I want to ask you, what are you saying to them as a guy who's had the locker, who's bled on that field, who's sweated through that jersey? What are you saying to those guys if you get a chance to speak to them in person?
I would just say enjoy the moment. You don't need to hear from me. You got the best coach that's ever lived. Do your job. So Bill's going to say, go do your job. I don't need to give some inspiring speech, but do your job and be proud to wear the jersey you're wearing, because I've done a lot of really, really cool things in life, and I've been blessed like crazy to be able to work in NASCAR and go on to have this career where I get to tour with heroes of mine growing up. And some of my best memories of my entire life are in Chapel Hill, in the locker room, in the field that you're about to play on. So enjoy this moment with some of your best friends that you're going to be friends with for the rest of your life, and do what Bill says.
Love to hear it, man. Tommy's laughing because he knows that's the party line now. Just do what Bill says, you'll be fine. Chase, we appreciate it, man. I hope that your next few concert dates go really well, but mainly hope that the opener before September 1 against TCU goes really well, and hope you enjoy the game. We look forward to talking to you sometime down the road.
It's always good to talk Carolina football, and I'm really looking forward to this year, man. I'm excited.
All right.
Appreciate
That's
it, man.
Chase Rice. He's Tommy Ashley. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the next segment of Inside Carolina Live.
A lot of people need to realize how much Carolina football means to a lot of people. It's not just about, what you think as a personal fan or all. It's how it affects people more so than just on the field. Like Chase just talked about, blowing his ankle out, being able to find his way through music and all, admitting that he was a bad teammate. How many times, Joey, do you see people admit that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And he did it. I've never heard him say that, at least not publicly. And for him to do it here, it's just a fascinating way of words that guys like that find it through music and share it for all of us to hear. Whether you like the music or not, that's your own personal taste, but the words and the meanings of the words and the meanings behind the words are what impressive. And it all leads back to Chapel Hill in Carolina and today.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that, like you said, independent of people's choice of music, he's got a story to tell. And that comment about, him being a bad teammate shows a lot of maturity and a lot of a lot of introspection. And I know a lot of grown ass men that are older than we are, Tommy, that can't say things like that. So I appreciate him opening up. I wish we could have had about 30 more minutes of his time. But again, the guy's got a small window of being able to be himself and be around. So we want to make sure we respect his time, but really appreciate him making time for us. And if by the time you're listening to this, he's opening up the pregame for UNC TCU. So not sure when we're going to drop this on YouTube, but if you're, the folks that heard this on Inside Carolina Live, he'll be playing about the time that we do the show. So just really appreciative of Chase making time for us.
Yep. 100%. And, Inside Carolina interviews and podcasts and all, and coverage and all. There's one reason why Inside Carolina is the best in the business.
If anybody has to subscribe right now, what are they even doing?
Yeah, I mean,
$1, Tommy.
I don't
$1.
$1 at the moment, worth whatever they charge full freight. I mean,
real.
it is absolutely unbelievable. And like Chase said, and like Eric said on our podcast earlier last week, what a time to be alive if you're a Carolina fan. And the best way to see that is inside Carolina. So fun times, Joey.
All right, man. Appreciate it. And shout out to Chase Rice and his people for helping us make this happen. We will catch you guys on the next episode of another Inside Carolina podcast. Y'all be good.